Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into the psychological and economic traps of the modern creator economy. But get this, we're doing it through the deadpan eyes of a viral cat named Sir Fluffington. We're going to trace the frankly terrifying life cycle of internet fame and see just how quickly chasing metrics can completely consume a human identity. Let's get into it.
The contrast here is just wild, isn't it? Sir Fluffington is, well, a cat. He doesn't have a brand identity, his only real biological desires are a warm patch of afternoon sun and his regular meals. But his human owner, Kevin, is about to force this poor guy into a chaotic digital empire. Sir Fluffington literally just wants to sleep, but human ambition has completely different plans.
Phase 1. The Accidental Influencer.
So, it all kicks off in a pretty depressing Tuesday evening. Kevin takes this totally uncurated photo of his cat, judging him for eating beige food out of a plastic container. Fluffington just wants a nap, right? But out there in the vast digital wilderness, his perpetually disappointed face is deemed relevant by the algorithm. You know, that cold, unfeeling, computational beast that dictates modern culture and literally feeds on our insecurities.
20,000. That is how many likes Sir Fluffington racks up in just 12 hours. To the cat, completely meaningless. But to Kevin, oh, it's a massive paradigm shift. He immediately ditches his soul-crushing corporate mindset and starts frantically tossing around buzzwords like engagement rate, growth hacking, and content calendar.
And the descent is incredibly fast. By day 3, Kevin's apartment looks like a hostage situation, just draped in green screens and blinding ring lights. And by day 5, get this, he's hoarding 37 tiny hats in clear plastic containers. We're talking pirate hats, Viking helmets, pharaoh headdresses, the whole shebang. The spontaneous magic of that first post is already dead, completely replaced by these manufactured setups.
Phase 2. The Monetization Machine. The hobby is now officially a business, and the sheer absurdity of how the creator economy operates behind the scenes really kicks into high gear. Kevin gets handed 47 pages of brand guidelines from premium PAWS artisanal cat cuisine. He has to somehow direct a feline to show enthusiastic enjoyment while perfectly framing an engraved stainless steel bowl and, of course, remembering to hashtag it as an ad. It's engineered authenticity at its finest.
They're living in the exact same apartment, but existing in two completely different universes. Sir Fluffington is just quietly judging the world while taste testing 23 different flavors of canned food, everything from duck confit to wild boar. Kevin, meanwhile, is completely delusional. He is absolutely convinced they are serious business partners scaling a media empire with equity potential.
Now we have to pause for a second on this staggering number. $150,000. That's the annual contract extension offer pushed across a video call by corporate executives. The promise of escaping his old life is just so intoxicating, Kevin signs away his cat's freedom right then and there. No lawyer, he just digitally signs away their peace.
Phase 3. The Parasocial Phenomenon.
As the money scales up, so does the psychological weight. Complete strangers actually begin relying on this digital cat for their own mental health. People are getting 47-hour ribcage tattoos of Sir Fluffington. A 47,000-member subreddit is actively analyzing the cat's existential weariness. At a Brooklyn meetup, 83 people are literally weeping, claiming this cat carried them through divorces. Kevin has accidentally made his pet the emotional infrastructure for thousands of lonely people.
Surviving that tear-filled fan meetup actually breaks something in Kevin. He falls into the absolute deepest trap of the creator economy, confusing engagement metrics with genuine human connection. He truly starts to believe that because these fans need them, he can never, ever stop producing. The audience's parasocial obsession becomes Kevin's absolute obligation.
40,000. That is how many not impressed t-shirts featuring Sir Fluffington's face they sold on day 1 alone. In less than a month, they generate over $1 million in merchandise revenue. Seeing his cat's face worn by strangers out on the street cements Kevin's absolute inability to turn off the monetization machine. The financial stakes are just way too high now.
So Kevin has everything he thought he wanted, right? He's rich, he's famous, he's the Sir Fluffington guy. But as he looks around, he realizes something incredibly dark. I used to be nobody. Now I matter. So why do I feel worse? He basically traded the simple invisibility of a boring office job for the absolute isolation of being a brand manager for his pet. He has no friends. He just manages an asset.
Phase 4. Algorithmic Burnout.
Because the numbers inevitably stop going up. Now, to a normal person, tiny decimal drops on a bar chart mean absolutely nothing. But to an influencer biologically addicted to exponential growth, a flatlining chart is a death sentence. Kevin is posting 3 times a day, doing everything right, but the algorithm is bored. The audience is plateauing.
And this panic is only amplified by a sudden rival. Enter Duchess von Whiskers, a Persian cat who eats caviar and partners with Cartier. It is textbook comparisonitis. Kevin tortures himself comparing his gritty, relatable success to this manufactured aspirational perfection. He completely forgets why people liked his unbothered cat in the first place. The sheer desperation to force new engagement just pushes Kevin right off the deep end. First, he buys an $800 wooden cat wheel that Fluffington entirely ignores. Then, he forces a highly stressful collaboration with an overly enthusiastic Labrador. Pretty soon, he's sitting on the floor, surrounded by printed photos, losing his grip on reality. And it all culminates in a frantic, pre-Vegas breakdown as he tries to shove an uncooperative cat into an anxiety-reducing thundershirt. The cat is done participating.
Surrounded by color-coded spreadsheets at 3 a.m. before a massive convention in Las Vegas, Kevin finally hits rock bottom. He looks at his cat and realizes his own identity is just gone. No hobbies, no friends, no life outside the brand. He built a digital prison of metrics, and he locked himself inside.
So, when we project ourselves into the digital world for likes, for money, or just for validation, we really have to ask, who is actually in control? Do we own our digital avatars, or do they own us? Because as Sir Fluffington and Kevin prove so vividly, the algorithm has absolutely no mercy. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.